Hello, it's Jen. Sorry that this video is late. I was trying to do some last minute debugging last night to make sure that I found as many of any problematic parts of script, little errors, spelling errors and things. I was trying to find as many of those as I could before making my progress public. So that's what I'm really excited to talk about today, is that I have made the SoulUnion game that I've been working on and talking about public. I've gone through a little bit of beta testing. I've had some feedback from my friends. So yeah, I think it's just kind of ready to be out there for anybody who wants to try it. I think that 3 chapters is a really good amount of time to know whether or not this game will be for you. It doesn't do any weird, 180 kind of circle jerks at the very end. So if you play through the 4 to 6 hours that I have created thus far, and it's your cup of tea, then thank you. I hope I hope you can give me your feedback and your interpretation, and let me know your thoughts on it if you have any. If it's not for you, I totally respect that. Yeah, thanks for trying it anyways. I appreciate your time and downloading the game and installing it and running it, and I'm sorry that it wasn't for you. I would be open to hearing any feedback that you'd be willing to give, but it's pretty late in development right now that I don't think that there would be much that I could change to suddenly make you change your mind about it. So yeah. Here, I will put a link in the description below to where you can download it for free. There is a Windows and Mac version available. I've been keeping a development log here, so even though it hasn't been public, I've just been keeping track of my progress, so you'll get an idea of what type of work I've been doing and how quickly I've been working, or how slowly I've been working as far as the last 40 days has been. School has been a bit brutal with my son. I have to take some college credits. I have to take a college course this fall to maintain my library certification. So I just about finished the last course that I have to take. I have a week of kind of like a final paper due next week, and then my son has been home. He's been doing virtual schooling, and it's been an adjustment period for all of us. He still struggles with paying attention, and because I'm working at the library, I can't always be there, or most of the time I'm not there to try to keep him on task and try to help him. But I do feel like even when I am there, I'm just distracting him, and he just kind of uses that as an excuse to talk to me instead of paying attention to his virtual teacher on Google Hangouts. So it's probably hard enough to keep adults interested in, if you've ever been in a Google Hangout meeting for work or with your friends. I would say that it's pretty hard to keep people's focused attention for more than an hour. So imagine a bunch of 7-year-olds having to sit there for an entire school day. It is pretty brutal. I have a lot of empathy for what my son is going through doing my online coursework. I'm only taking one class right now that I probably put maybe maybe 5 hours a week into it. So that's not even like an entire school day for him, and I'm already done. Like, my eyes are glazing over, and I'm like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this this class anymore. I could go on a whole tangent about how I feel about online school, about just formal education in general, and how I think it could be improved in some of the areas that it's lacking. As somebody who really enjoys learning, like I love learning, I hate school. So there, I threw it out there. And it wasn't that I was bad at school. I had an A. I got A's when I was in high school and college, and I always did what I felt like was the bare minimum for my standards, which meant that I wanted to get A's. But I still procrastinated like crazy. I would wait until the class before I had a paper due, and I would like write it during that class. I would be cramming and studying for a test like right before the test was going to take place, and then I would just completely forget everything that I just learned, and then I would fill up that headspace learning things that I actually cared about. In this case, I've been learning how to program, and I feel like it's giving my brain like fantastic exercise. I'm learning valuable skills that are applicable to like anything I want to do in life. I'm building tenacity. I'm learning to creatively problem solve. Like, these are all things that are like really useful skills and really rewarding kind of learning. And yeah, school was just a pain in the butt thing that I had to get over with so I could get on to learning the things I really wanted to learn. So it's unfortunate that I couldn't be excited about school and about learning. And it's also unfortunate, I notice, working at the library, that it makes people develop a bad attitude towards learning. It's like, I don't want to learn that. I don't want to do that. Because they had such a negative experience in school because school made it so boring and annoying and useless that it just kind of like turns off that whole sector of their brain and makes you like think that that's what all learning is like. But when you have self-directed learning, where you are learning something to apply it directly to something that you want to achieve, it's really fun. It's really rewarding, and I wish that there was a way that we could just revolutionize the learning system and make that, cultivate that more. So anyways, that's my library soapbox, my online learning frustrations and where my head's been at for the last month. It took me 6 hours. All I had to do in order to have my game be at a point that I wanted to share it, all I had to do was finish chapter 3. And the only part of chapter 3 that I had to finish for the last 2 months has been the last portions of the Bard's romance and trust trap, which is all optional dialogue, but it's it needs to be there. I can't even show you what I was talking about, which is dumb. But I want to say it's maybe maybe a block of text that large. This is the second to last relationship conversation that was probably about the same length, and it took me 6 hours to write 2 of these, one for the friendship and one for the relationship. And I just couldn't get it done at home. There's too many distractions with my son and with school and with what's going on in the news cycles, and honestly, some video games that I was trying out were also distracting me, and I just couldn't get it done. I've been trying to kind of manage my body as well, because I'm 40, and what they say, at least for me, has been true about your body kind of falling apart. I've just been more tired than I've ever been. Yeah, it's been rough. I don't want to go into a lot of detail about it, but I've been to my doctor, and I've been trying different things that both she has recommended and my friends have recommended to try to get over some of this fatigue and this burnout, which some of it is just like not something that can be solved with vitamins and antidepressants and whatever else that they would want to prescribe. I think some of it is just like life being stressful, and just the kind of like cultural rat race that we're in. Even though I try to live like, I probably have one of the most chill jobs, and I try to live like a pretty chill life, I'm still a part of this society. I'm not a like, a chimpanzee or something, where I feel like, that's probably a little bit more closer to what we should be doing in order to like have stable mental health. But instead we make all these like complex problems and, all these like high stakes, scenarios for ourselves that aren't really anything other than like culturally, enforced. It's not something that our actual every day-to-day like survival needs dictate. It's something that we've done to ourselves, and you can't really escape it unless you're gonna live on a deserted island by yourself, which is also not something that that a human being can healthfully do. So I think I've mentioned before that writing is the hardest part for me. Apparently saying words is also hard for me. Doing the drawing and the animation, I think, is what people would assume takes the most work. When you're looking for a visual novelty, the role of the artist and the programmer is usually like kind of hyped up, like those are the parts that it's hard to find people willing to volunteer their time, because yes, it is a lot of work to create all these assets. I think a lot of times writers kind of have a burning desire to write their stories, so they may be more willing to do that type of work for free. But I personally find writing to be like the hardest, most difficult part of this whole project, because it requires me to focus solely on the writing alone. I can do art, I can listen. In fact, I love doing art and listening to, to something else, having something else playing in the background. I think I've mentioned this before too, that I love multitasking. I love like being able to listen to something, to be thinking about something, be having conversations with people while I'm drawing, versus like writing. It's like I can't have anybody there in the room with me, and that is a really hard thing that's a really hard environment to be able to make for myself. I ended up having a paid time off day that I just went into my office and I sat there and I just scripted that last 6 hours of script on my day off, because that was the only place that I could go, that I could just like focus on what I needed to get done. And I had put it off for like 2 months, and I was just like, you know what, this is just gonna get done, I don't care. So yeah, it's done. It's nothing brilliant. it's just like what it takes for me to get it done. And so yeah, I'm excited about having this available. I hope that you all are willing to give it a try, and if you have any feedback for me, I would just be ecstatic. I've been kind of working, I feel like, in my own little bubble, secluded, just kind of yelling at myself. If this game is a voice, I've just been talking to myself for like, the past 6-7 months. I did have some people who are willing to test the game, which I am eternally grateful for, because I got a lot of good feedback that I was able to make some improvements on. But I think that I'm just sick to death of having to keep playtesting this game, and there's just a lot of optional dialogue, text, scenarios that having more people be able to access it and to be able to, you know, find maybe little quirks or little issues for me would be just fantastic. So that's why I decided to go ahead and make my build public. Thanks for listening. I'm really happy to finally be over this like last hump that I've just been like stuck on for like the last like 2 months, because I already have like chapter 4 outlined. So I'm really looking forward to being able to finally get started on that. And as always, enjoy the process, and I'll see you next time. Bye.